Welcome back, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Hema Ramkissoon, and this is Navigating the Crisis, Road to Recovery. Now, when the Prime Minister announced the reopening process, 3 manufacturers were given the green light to resume operations and production. Trinidad Cement Limited was one of the companies chosen. The company is described on its website as a leading producer and marketer of cement, ready-mix concrete and aggregates in the Caribbean. According to the website, we are firmly committed to our goal of building a better and brighter future for our customers, employees, shareholders and the wider Caribbean communities. But in a time of COVID-19, can they still do this? Well, to answer these questions and so much more, the General Manager of TCL, Guillermo Rojo de Diego. Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Hema. Thank you for inviting.
Now, let's first start with the basis of the company that we're talking about. How many countries in the region does TCL export to?
Okay, so TCL export to around 20 different countries in the CARICOM region and other little countries in the same region. We are, I would say, one of the biggest exporters in the manufacturing sector in Trinidad, and I believe that helps the country because we bring around 250 million PPs a year that we convert into PPs to basically pay our contractors and our employees.
When you talk about the employees, how many employees do you think that your company directly employs?
In the whole region, Hema, we have we have a plant in Jamaica, a plant in Barbados, and the operation in Trinidad. It has the plant as well as the ready-mix business, RML, and the packing plant, where we do the sacks of cement that we use for our product. Overall, we have 800 employees in the whole TCL group, and only in Trinidad we have around 400, including those 3 subsidiaries that I mentioned.
Now, looking at the fact that you identify the scope and the footprint of this company, obviously looking at the Forex situation, I have to ask, how much foreign exchange does TCL contribute to the economy on an annual basis?
As I mentioned, is 250 million PPs that we brought in last year. Based on all our export are made in US dollars, and we use most of that money to pay our contractors in Trinidad, as well as our employees. So I believe we have a bright future if we keep on being very effective on export as we have been doing in the last couple of years.
Looking at the fact of where you're positioned, what do you think is the role of TCL in the wider construction industry at this time?
I think cement and TCL is at the beginning of the value chain of the construction sector. I believe Trinidad is a very lucky country because it has plenty limestone that we use to convert into cement. So all our raw materials, 95% of the raw material that we use is homegrown, is Trinitarian. And we, as I said, we are very, very proud to be the beginning of the value chain of this construction industry that is critical, we believe, because it triggers another industries, like, you know, when there is construction happening, that pulls as well painting, furniture, electronics, and plenty stuff. So on one side, the economic effect of the construction industry is critical, and it is necessary for any industry to resume to pull. And on the other side, from the health perspective, OSHA has defined the construction industry as one of the very low risk, right, because the distance between employees is usually quite high, and the operation happens at the open environment. So the risk of spreading of the virus is low. That on one side.
Now you talk,
yeah, go ahead.
You know, you talk about, and I know you brought in the COVID-19 conversation, and on Saturday, the Prime Minister, he did say that the first phase, so we're in the first phase of the reopening. Why does TCL believe that it ought to have been given the green light to restart ahead of other manufacturers?
So we followed the government advice to stop operation as soon as we were asked to do so, because it was our responsibility to follow the government guidelines to stop the spread of the virus. We have operation in countries that have suffered a lot, as Spain and other countries in Europe, and we knew that it was serious. So we took it very serious from the beginning. We shut down our main operations, and we basically remained doing some minimum jobs to make sure that we were ready to resume when we were asked to do so. That on one side. So we did our preparation to get ready to resume when we were asked to do so. On the other side, it is very hard, I understand, for the government to remain or hold the construction pause for such a long time. Because there is, as you know, plenty essential jobs that need to continue in order to ensure the well-being of the people. Then there are hospitals that need to continue being constructed, roads, bridges, and that is not only in Trinidad, but also in all these other countries where we do export. So I believe the necessity and the scarcity of cement in the whole region created this circumstance where cement was highly required, and we were ready to resume. So I think those two factors helped us very much to be back on business and resume.
You know, you just gave the whole reason as to how your value chain is linked to so many other industries. But after the press conference, so many questions, every other manufacturer felt as though they should have been given the opportunity to do so as well. Even others in the seemingly construction value chain felt as though they should have been given the opportunity. Why do you think TCL was so important to the government?
Well, I can only speak on behalf of TCL. I cannot speak on behalf of the government. But as I said, we were prepared. They identified that there was a necessity of cement in the export market as well as the local market. They saw the kind of new protocols and initiatives that we implemented, so they knew that we were ready. And we will always follow government guidelines. If they had kept us on hold for a while, we would have followed those recommendations. But we strongly believe and we hope that, being the fact that the spread of the virus has been quite well contained, as the outcome shows, we hope that, again, as I said before, the construction resumes, because we believe construction has a multiplier effect on the economy and is a very well regulated industry. So we believe it has to resume as soon as possible.
This new space that we're now all adopting, you know, what has been the impact of the shutdown? And tell me about some of the new procedures that you had to put in place to resume operations on such a short space of time.
They say that during extraordinary times, extraordinary measures. It has been very, it has forced us to do all things differently and to learn to do things differently and effectively. And I think we have learned to work with Zoom and Skype have become tools that we use on our daily basis. We don't need to meet so much, and that in the end has some positives as well, because there is more productivity. We are more productive talking to each other. So we have developed, for example, a health check app where all our employees report if they're feeling any symptoms, so that the company can take care and advise them on how to proceed medically. That is something we never thought of before. So we have every twice a week we have training sessions with Andrew Luis, who is our ambassador, brand ambassador. So he trains our TCL employees, and we do sports with him online. He's from Tenerife in Spain. So that kind of amazing things have happened because of the virus. So on every negative there is a positive.
What do you think, and is my final question, a lot of companies are saying that they will not return to the old ways anytime soon, not in the foreseeable future. What do you think TCL would look like for the next year? How are things going to change in terms of the company's operations?
So we understand that we have not resumed to work business as usual. Most of the people has been doing remote work, because we do believe actually that there is some benefits of people working from home, and actually plenty of people like that system, and so we have been encouraging that, and all different, there's this whole set of procedures. Cemex has developed 52 procedures that actually are open on our website of recommendations that we have gathered in different places worldwide for different protocols of different activities. For example, a screening at the entrance of the plant, how the temperature is measured to every individual that comes in. We don't pan in anymore, so there is a system that identifies employees without touching any device on site. So there is a whole range of new devices and protocols that we have put in place that are going to make things completely different. And that is something visible when one comes to Claxton Bay, to TCL, and walks around, the way we operate now is completely different. It's not worse, it's just different.
Mr. Diego, I want to thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to hear some of your thoughts and obviously some insight into what is taking place at TCL, the resumption process, and what operations will look like in the future. We do appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Emma. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Do have a wonderful night. And that's what we had from TCL. TCL, one of 3 companies identified to resume operations, talking about some of the safety procedures that they have put in place. This is navigating the crisis, the road to the recovery. Stay with us. We'll have more after this break.